Boom, boom. What is going on, guys? Doing a live video for you guys tonight. You know the routine. We're going to wait a minute or two, get some people joining in, and got some good stuff for you tonight. Also got a special guest coming in about five minutes or so. As always, I always ask, how is the audio? Is the audio good? Give me a thumbs up in the comments. Obviously, video looks like it's good to go. We're streaming on YouTube and Facebook, so which is good. Seems like everything's good to go. Sweet. Awesome. Well, anyways, guys, we're gonna start this routine here. Wanted to do a little bit of a different time frame for the live videos. I know we kind of talked briefly on what my last events was, and I kind of was talking of Brent on starting to do some live videos towards in the night and go from there. So we are here live. Just checking out some comments. So looking good, looking good. Sweet. Well, hope everyone's having a good Thursday night. Tomorrow's Friday. Hopefully everyone has a good weekend. Good to see everyone in the chat tonight. Seems like I saw there's a couple people going live, Facebook Live tonight. So hopefully the turnout that we get on here is not terrible. But yeah, I want to talk about the Southern Nationals and how the event went, what we learned, what kind of things we learned from last year going, and talk about some nitro buggy. Got my nitro buggy from the main event right here. Obviously, I don't have a wing on it, but we can kind of discuss about a couple of different things, which will be good to go. So, and we'll go through some 10 skill stuff and what we'll be coming up with. Larry Tom, yes, you're joining in. Good for you. Cool. Well, like I was saying earlier, we have a special guest joining in. Drew is going to join us in, Drew Spurgeon. If I'm saying his name wrong, I'm not. I apologize. But he should be joining us in a moment or two, which will be fun. Just to kind of give some a different perspective of the event. He was racing the, I guess you could say, the old man class. No offense, or how you would say the mature class, but no, he did pretty good. We were all pinned together. It was me and Jackson, Richard Saxon, Kurt Wanger, all together. We had the Mugen guys, Adam Drake, Ryan Mayfield, all pitting close to us. So it was a good event. We had a good amount of entries. I think like 32 heats, I believe. So Dave Lycum and his crew with Race Time Entertainment always does an amazing job with how things are going with the Southern Nationals. It seemed like this event was a little bit different than last year. They were like building the event a little bit. The track wasn't quite like finished product as we showed up there on Thursday. So they were still finishing piping it Thursday night and Friday morning, I think. So that's always fun. It also was a big factor of how the weather was, which I'm sure when Drew gets in here, we can kind of discuss that. how the dirt was, what tires we ran, and stuff like that. So if you guys have any questions about any of the nitro stuff, we're going to go through a full rundown of the event and go from there. So yeah, so the event the event started pretty wet. The track had a ton of moisture with the weather coming in outside, the humidity, tons and tons of moisture came up from the ground, and which is it's something that we're like not exactly used to because like the track actually starts off a little bit moist and then gets drier like super early. So like as tire wise, we always were running like greens early on and then switched to blues like for the start of qualifying. But this time around, we were like on greens all the way through qualifying towards until the end of like round 3 of qualifying. We tried blues and it was like instantly things were turned around, had tons of traction. But the bumps, there was a lot of character coming into place, which I mean, you guys know how that is with 8SCO races. It's like nonstop with evolving with the track. Tires are changing. Everyone's changing setup. So, yeah, not too terrible. Not too terrible. Let me see what we have for Drew coming in. Cool. Well, anyways, but yeah, back to the tires. Yeah, as far as what the tires are, it seems like the green reflexes, the green stockers are always a good safety pick for tires. We showed up with my okay, Drew's actually joining in here hopefully soon. Here he is. Cool. What's going on, man?
What's happening?
It looks like you got everything to work.
Yeah, it's on there. You can hear me good?
Yeah, everything's loud and clear. Guys on the chat, if you guys can hear Drew, that'll be good to go. Let us know, and we'll bring you up to speed. So, Drew, yeah, we were just talking about kind of how we showed up to the Southern Nationals from the last year that we showed up. It seemed like the dirt was a lot more moist than it ever was before.
Yeah,
which wasn't exactly
everything
fun for us with cleaning the cars and tires. But I mean, what did you think about it when we first showed up?
Man, well, Thursday we first showed up, there wasn't even a track, so it was kind of sketchy. But it really surprised me, to be honest with you, because they didn't put nearly as much water as they usually do in it as they're building it. So I figured it was going to blow out completely and just be a waste. But I guess with that humidity and the rain we got, the moisture stayed in it, and it actually held together really, really good. People say it blew out, but really the straightaway, coming on the straightaway had some holes. But other than that, they were just braking bumps and accelerating bumps. It never really blew apart and broke up.
Yeah, I definitely I would for sure agree. I mean, I remember last year being like that on main day, the track was like white ghost like color, and
Yeah.
you can definitely see it was like not quite like that. But obviously with the same characteristics of the breaking bumps coming
Yeah,
on
it was good. It had a lot of
yeah. Well, I guess we kind of skipped the subject, but I kind of already introduced you to the guys that are in the chat right now. If you want to go ahead and say where you're from and what classes you race and how long you've been running for Team Associated, I'm sure the people would like to hear where you're at.
Yeah, I'm back here in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, about midway through the states here, and been running. I guess I've been racing off and on about 35 years, and started with Team Associated way back in the day. Went to Losi a little bit and back and forth, and now I'm back on Associated. Just been here, 4 years now, 4 years. Came just loving it, man. The cars get better and better every time we run them. Every time we do some changes, it really works good. And just all around, 10 scale, 8 scale, whatever you want, we got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I remember kind of officially kind of talking to you more last year at the Southern Nationals, and everyone gave each other crap. And you're good friends with Adam Drake, so it was cool kind of pitting all together with us this year, which was pretty fun. And I was in a qualifier or the race before you. I think it was like E-Buggy or Nitro Buggy, and me and Mayfoot are watching you, and I'm like, holy crap! Like Drew's car looks like amazing. I'm like, I might need to get the setup off that thing. And Mayfoot started laughing his butt off, and yeah, it was cool. No, you did pretty awesome. I mean, I think you had some issues happen in Nitro Buggy with your tire coming off, but
yeah,
throughout the event, I feel like you kind of showed up with what you kind of had, and you maybe did some shock stuff, I think I saw, and you just kind of ran your car box stock. I don't know if you want to talk about anything that you changed.
Well, I showed up and talking Thursday, really talking to Lee Setzer on Thursday, and we were going over some different stuff and asking about base setup. And usually I start everywhere I go with 774 in the diffs and the 5-hole piston setup that we got. And he was telling me that he's going 10-10-7. A lot of guys trying that. It stays more consistent in the longer mains when it's gripped and everything else. So I said, what the hell? I'll try it, see what happens. And ended up really liking it. Changed the E-Buggy over to it. Then, after that, I just changed a little bit of shock oil, went down a little bit in that and evened it out. And it just started working really good. So the car was really easy to drive, real stable, and just went with it. Just started pulling the trigger, letting it go where it went.
That's one of the things that, throughout the weekend, I actually showed up with my car and my Nitro Buggy, which I thought this weekend I really learned a lot about the diffs. And I might be a little bit more finicky than the average guy, and you being a hardcore racer, you kind of know what you like. But I had like a mixture of 8,500 in the front, 8,500 in the rear, and 8,500 in the front, 8,500 in the center, and then 6K in the rear diff. And that's just something that Kurt and I have been running. It seems like that's been the most consistent from track to track to track. But when I first showed up to the Southern Nationals, my car was pretty balanced to drive, but steering sections in the 180s, on power steering sections, like in my opinion, the car just kind of skidded in the front and never the front tires never rolled and turned.
Yeah.
And I went to 7K in the front diff, which was down from 8,500, which is a mixture of 10 and 7 for those who don't know. No, I don't think anybody mixes or makes 8,500. So that's a mixture of 10 and 7. And I went down to 7, and it was it's probably the best change I think I've ever witnessed or felt in an 8-scale buggy. I don't know, it sounds crazy, but the fact that I was really able to feel, because the track was pretty consistent through practice and through qualifying, it was always kind of the same every time. Typically with these outdoor races, the track's always evolving. The sun's up, the sun's down, moisture's coming up, moisture's going away. So with these indoor races, you're really able to feel the changes more than you are traditionally able to feel. But just going down the front diff oil to get the front tires not to skid when you go entering in the corner, it just kind of helped with making it super easy to drive. It was kind of surprising you actually went up in diff oil, but on my perspective, I can see how that for you, how that can coordinate to be really good and easy to drive, because you kind of are in the mindset of, hey, it's going to be better long term. It's going to be good for the longer races. It's going to be easy to drive.
Yeah, I don't push as hard as you guys do. I mean, it's obvious I'm not going into the corner as hard or trying to push through it or anything like that, and so I'm looking for stability and easy to drive for the whole 30, 45 minutes, however long we're racing. I used to run a little bit lighter oils and stuff, but I noticed, especially on a high grip track, in a 30, 45-minute main, 15 minutes in, you're 4,000 or 5,000 in the rear feels like 2. I mean, and the car just gets really hard to drive. And a lot of people think their tires are going away and everything else, but it's really just spinning through the diffs and you just can't get it to do anything. So just consistency is what I'm after.
Yeah, this is great information. I'm glad that we had you on because this is exactly what the kind of stuff that, I feel like when people try to follow me or Mayfield or Adam or whoever it may be, that us guys that are like always searching for like tenths of a second, half of a tenth, and you being an experienced racer, knowing, what your limits are, what matters, what doesn't matter. And I feel like the guys in the chat, or maybe not specifically the guys right now, but the people that are in the hobby, they do things that really doesn't matter. Like they're just constantly chasing their tail and they're searching behind the 8 ball, or they're behind the 8 ball. And, this is all stuff that I'm sure you've seen with your buddies when you go out and race. It's like, oh, man, you're doing your diffs and shocks again. Like, and you're just over here just kicking it with your car and you're just, you know what you like.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, it's funny because pitting for Adam or Ryan or even helping you out and all that stuff is, they'll come into the pits, and on the radio during practice or whatever, they'll say, hey, raise my ride height a quarter turn in the front or lower it a quarter turn in the back. And hell, I don't even know if all my collars are the same distance. I mean, so it's like you guys can feel so much more minute changes than the normal guy can. And like you said, I know my limits. I know what I can do, and I just drive it. If it's not working in a certain corner, I'll just go slower through that corner, make it up somewhere else.
Yeah. This is awesome that you're saying this because this is honestly the truth. I mean, I get questions asked all the time at races about shock oil, pistons, camber links, and we do know the majority of the changes of kind of what it does. But when we're at these races, it's like, look, we're trying to figure it out on hand too. And I don't want to go to a race feeling like, I start with my baseline, I race with my baseline, and maybe the track's evolving. For someone like me or Mayfield or whoever of that skill set, we don't have time to like wait for the car to kind of come in. We kind of like have to force it, and we have to be on our A game every single time we hit the track. So when we're making changes, it's because what we showed up with, it's like it's not laid enough in the game for the car to be quite as fast. So like, for instance, for the main event, can you imagine what I did with my diffs? I went back up to what I started with.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like the same thing that goes around in circles about. And I think that's important. I think people need to realize that having a baseline setup, and I think I told Brent to get with you on getting a setup from you. I'm not sure if he contacted you yet.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of filling those out, and we'll have them sent in and post it up here shortly.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I know you and I were talking about after the end of the race about what you were running. If you said kit setup with the Kurt 5-hole pistons with emulsion, and called it a day. And your car looked awesome. I mean, dude, you were driving so good. I'm like, I felt bad for everyone in your race.
Yeah. I just got to figure out that left front wheel nut, see what's going on with it. But
so it was the wheel nut. I thought the tire came unglued.
No. 23 minutes into the race, going through the chicane, I went to make that turn up the hill, and the left front wheel went all the way to the other side of the arena. The wheel nut just came off. I don't know how it lasted that long or what, but it's weird. So I'm gonna change all that, the hexes and the hubs and all that out, and get it all fresh. Something's not right. So
Yeah.
But
Wow.
but yeah, it was good. And like you said, man, you guys making changes. If you remember last year, how big the track was, the huge step up, the bumps, the ruts. I think we built what 7, 8 pair of shocks that weekend, just trying to find the right package.
Yeah,
And you guys,
last year was a struggle for me. I
yeah,
was trying a lot of different stuff. The track was changing. The track wasn't changing, but like more of the track was just getting run in.
yeah,
But I ended
not
up,
much grip.
yeah, I ended up with the same setup I started with at that last year's race, and just ran in the main, and my car was pretty decent.
Yeah,
There were some things I think we needed to work on, but part of this video, I wanted to talk about last year when I was there, what I learned and what things that I utilized for this year's Southern Nationals. And maybe you can kind of go in and talk about, I mean, what did you learn from last year's event? Or at least for people to kind of see like, hey, when people travel to their event for the first time, have reasonable expectation goals, and then,
yeah,
hopefully come back the following year learning from that and, excelling pretty well.
yeah,
So maybe you
yeah.
can talk about how your results were last year at the Southern Nationals versus this year and
Yeah,
such.
last year was a struggle for me too, man. That track, I don't know if it was just the surface, the layout, what, but I struggled. Um, I think I still ended up a TQ'd e-buggy, and I don't know where I ended up in the nitro or the electric, but I learned last year, and it goes back to what we said, is I almost think I tuned myself out of the race. I was changing so much stuff, and I got so far away from my comfortable base setup that I usually run that it just got worse and worse. And by the time I just went back to my normal setup, it was too late. Qualifiers
Yeah.
were over, and the track changed even farther and stuff like that. So I think I tuned myself out of that race. And I learned this year, start with something and just stick with it and see what happens, and maybe make slight minor changes and just get the car comfortable. And I did learn also that the right tire helps a whole bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
remember talking to you about what tire that you liked, and I was on like early on in practice, I was on like green stalkers. I ran green reflexes, green stalkers, and I was like 1/10 faster with the stalker. That felt pretty good to drive. And I think you kind of like the stalker the whole time too, right?
I ran green stalkers in the first 2 qualifiers, TQ'd both rounds, went to the blue for the third just to try them for the main on Sunday, and ended up Sunday going with A2s. The
Yeah.
grip came up even more. I think I ran the blues in like the C main of my e-buggy. I started dead last in the whole field in
Yeah.
e-buggy. So
Yeah.
I think I ran them, and I noticed they got a little bit warm in 10 minutes and started getting a little squirmy on me. So mounted up the A2s and just ran those the rest of the day, and they were really good.
Yeah, I remember talking with you. You had some issues with your e-buggy. The bullets came unsoldered and the motor wire came unsoldered, or whatever ended up happening. But
Yeah.
yeah, the guys that are just watching, Drew was like started in the last main of e-buggy and bumped up 3 times and ended up winning e-buggy in the main. I mean, your stuff was on point. I mean, it looked
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. It got really good. I think from practice Friday until the end of Saturday qualifying, I made a total of 6 laps with the e-buggy altogether.
Yeah.
And so started dead last in the C main and just had to put in the work, get up there. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I was going over some notes with Kurt and our guys, Jason with J Concepts, about tires. And you mentioned that you ran the blues in your e-buggy, and you thought or in one of the rounds you mentioned that you thought they felt a little bit soft, and then you went and took the next step to the Aqua. And in my opinion, from what I've been seeing, not that the Aqua isn't a good compound or that we haven't done anything good with it, I feel that soft feeling that maybe you're feeling, or the feedback that I get when I drive it too, especially if it's like on the verge of being too much grip for those tires. I think a lot of gains to be made with running the softer tire. I think the car could be actually better with the diff oils and shock oil. Like, I think potentially you could have ran an even thicker shock oil package and diff oil package with that same tire, and could have been even faster than leaving the shock oil and diff oil and just going to the Aqua tires. And
Right.
the reason why I say that is because, these last several events that I've been to with running the tracks changing, and what we learned a lot with Mayfield at the Nationals is it was like 80, 90 degrees at the Nationals. Outside, it was grooved, and Mayfield chose to run the blue stalkers over the Aqua stalkers. And he was kind of under the impression that, hey, I don't care if these things wear out, because when they go bald, I'm going to be even faster.
Yeah.
But obviously, him being an experienced racer, people don't want to have a hard car to drive, like you said earlier.
Right.
But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, if the blue compound is on the maybe slight verge of being too soft, but the soft feeling, I feel like the tires are making tons of traction. So the car is has a lot more, the shocks are moving more, the diffs are being more active. And I think what I want to start utilizing more is maybe running the softer tire, but changing maybe the diffs to accommodate. I feel that it's so easy for us racers to say, all right, hey, the compound's too soft. Like, hey, we need to go up and compound.
Right.
Because, it's so easy. So I don't know if that's something that you ever thought about. I know maybe, when you ran the Aquas, you thought it was good to go and you didn't need to change anything. And that could be very well be. But I feel like for the average guys making that big step in compound from greens to blues to Aqua, in my opinion, the track has to be perfect. I think Mayfield, I ran Aquas and Truggy at the Southern Nationals in the main, and in warm up, it felt awesome. There's no doubt it doesn't feel good. But Mayfield went out on Aquas. I don't know if you were pitting him or whatever.
I had to change him. I had to change him at the last second back to blues.
Yeah, Ryan put an audible and changed his Aquas to the blues in Truggy. And after the race, him and I talked about why he did that. And he was telling me in warm up he was driving against one of the Techno guys, Jared Wiggins, in the warm up, and he said Jared pulled on him hard, and Ryan had no traction.
Really?
to catch him. But when Richard threw me out in the warm-up, he threw me on the middle of the track. So I was driving by myself, and I wasn't racing anybody in warm-up. So I'm like, oh,
you couldn't judge anything. Awesome. Yeah.
So Ryan had I thought it was good that Ryan had a judge of why he switched, and I ended up finishing fourth. But yeah, I just, I think in the Nitro Buggy race, Mayfield and Dakota ran blue rehabs. Or excuse me, Dakota ran blue rehabs.
Yeah,
Mayfield ran blue reflexes. I ran blue reflexes, and I had the same feeling that you felt, that the car felt kind of soft and it had a lot of movement, that maybe the tires feeling soft. But in my opinion, it was all diff oil and all shock oil. I think if me and Mayfield would have ran the thicker diff oil and shock oil, it would have been ridiculous speed to drive. I don't think anybody in the main had their diff and shock oil perfect, but that's just part of racing. Nothing's perfect.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody in the main that just clearly was a step or two above anybody else. It was all pretty good.
With Ryan having a couple mistakes, I had a couple mistakes. Dakota kind of having the same, and he was kind of the one that kind of barely got away from all that.
Yeah.
But it was nuts. I mean, you helping Ryan, in the pits, what is it like kind of being in there and just seeing all the craziness happen? It's got to be chaos.
It's pretty crazy, man. It's a lot of fun. I love doing that. I have more fun going to the races and pitting and hanging out with you guys than actually, my time's come and gone. I'm just out for fun now. So
yeah.
But it is, man. It's you got to be precise. You got to do it right. Get them out, because you guys are just tenths of a second apart, and a big one little bobble in the pits could ruin a race. It is nice doing both Adam and Ryan in the pits, because Adam's hell, there's 10, 12 minutes, so there's no rush to get him, and you concentrate on Ryan and get him in and out, and then Adam
Did
comes
he end
in.
up going 10 minutes?
Yeah, we went 10 in the buggy, and 10, I think 10, almost 10:30, 10:40 on the first one, and then right at 10 on the next ones.
Yeah, he's crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it or where he gets it from, but his stuff runs forever.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, we'll kind of move on from that, but yeah, as far as the car setup goes, just kind of bring it back for the guys. I mean, was there anything new on your car that you've been running that maybe you want to share setup wise with? Maybe did you run any of the G10 arm plates? Have you been testing with any of the springs or anything specific? The new aluminum hubs, which I know we kind of just got out a few months ago.
Yeah. No, I haven't tried the hubs or the new springs yet. I'm anxious to get the springs, and go. Yeah. Me and Kurt went over those a bunch. I think he's sending me some hubs and stuff to try out. But cool. No, I just run the white spring, associated white spring in the front, the hot body's yellow in the rear.
Yep.
And right now on both cars. But I think the main big difference I made this weekend, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but is that the battery mod that we're doing on the e-buggy. Cutting the back of the plate, moving it forward like you did, and the battery, the shorty 6100 shorty battery, that made a huge difference. I ran, I think one or two laps in practice, before my stuff messed up. And then, while I was sitting there mad at the car, I went ahead and changed it and everything else. And it just felt.
You did that at the track?
I did it at the track. Yes. At Friday. I did it Friday, took it out, trimmed it. And like I said, Lee Setzer gave me the lowdown on how to do it, where to put it all. And I've ran the Southern Nats every year they've had it. And I've always ran e-buggy and nitro buggy, sometimes truck. But this car I've ran this year as well, and it felt most balanced anytime I've ever ran it. It was really balanced and so easy to drive it like that.
And it's funny you say that, because this year's Southern Nationals, this was the first event that my e-buggy was done like that, and I thought my e-buggy was the best it's ever been ever. Yeah. Which I'm so pissed off, because I should have done that for the E Nationals,
right,
in Florida. But
but yeah, it is a great change. I recommend it to any of the guys out there. It literally doesn't take 15, 20 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
Now it takes longer if you want it to be all super pretty and everything else, but I mean, literally 15, 20 minutes, I had it changed over and back on the track. So definitely the biggest noticeable change I've made in a long time would be this to the e-buggy.
On your e-buggy, did you also run the white front spring on the e-buggy?
Yeah, same. Funny, the same setup. White front, hot bodies, yellow rear, with the same 5-hole pistons and 42.5 all the way around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it seems like you and I haven't really talked much since from like the tracks and stuff, but I'm pretty happy that you kind of have a good baseline where you're kind of located, and I'm sure that a lot of local guys should come up and talk to you. And for those who don't know you, Drew, you did. I was so pumped how you were driving, how your cars looked at the Southern Nationals. I told Ryan at the end of the event, I'm like, man, Drew's pretty cool. So it was a good time. It's when we get to travel to these events, a lot of people think the different teams kind of pit separately and no one kind of talks, and that's not the vibe that we get at all when we go to these races. You're an associated guy, you help out Adam and Ryan with on Mugen. It's like, look, we're all good buddies, we have a good time, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, I'm loyal to my brand. I run who supports me, but I'm also loyal to friends. Adam has taught me a really whole lot over the past years, and we're just friends. It's nothing to do with I want to be on Mugen or whatever else. It's just he's one of my good friends, and I help him out. he is teammate now, J Concepts OS Futaba teammate. So, there's something there. But yeah, it's like you said, man. We go to these races and people think it's just work, race, all this. But man, we have fun. We have fun. I mean, I think I am the reigning Surge basketball champion. Now you might have me. We're tied at walk-ons, but I think I got you at Surge. so that'll continue next year or the next time. AMS is coming up. We might have to find a spot.
What races are you doing at the end of the year? Are you doing anything? You said you're going to AMS.
Yeah. Actually, I've got 2 weeks from now. Next weekend, I think, is the Tennessee Fall Shootout. Going over to Milan, Tennessee. It's an outdoor track, really fun. Bullet Town RC. Anybody in the area needs to come over and check it out. Then I'll be at AMS. I'm not racing AMS, but I'm just going to be there for support, help out, pit, whatever anybody needs for the team and everybody. So I love that race too. It's fun, and this new format looks like it's going to be really cool. And
I'm pretty excited to see the new format. I mean, we kind of discussed a little bit about it at dinner one of the nights. And I think it's good that we're trying some different things in the hobby with Dave. Dave has 5 events now, so he gets to play a little bit. So I think it's going to be a sellout event. I hope that we're going to see some new learning experiences from it. Maybe we'll make some changes for the following year. But it's cool that you're going to come out and help out the guys. I'm sure, we'll all be hanging out again like, we were this past weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you going to do that fall brawl at the end of the year?
No, I'm not going to go to that. It's a little too far for me to get over there. But after AMS, that's when our indoor season starts around here. So I've got my tent scale stuff all ready to go, getting built up, and we're going to have fun doing that. We've got a couple tracks around here for indoor tent scale on dirt. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Sweet.
And you're going US Open next weekend?
Yeah. So in 2 weeks, me, Mayfield, Tanner Denny, and his dad and my dad might come to the US Open on the border in Texas somewhere.
Yeah, El Paso.
So that'll be pretty fun. I know Ryan's gone the last couple of years, and as always said, it's pretty. The track always looks awesome on video. I'm usually in Myrtle Beach when they're racing it. I'll be able to go this year. And for me, I have the Kinwald race after that at Hobby Action. And then I believe I'll be at the track side.
You doing Masters of Dirt?
I'm doing Masters of Dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a good amount of 10 scale races coming up. I'm pretty excited for, but anyways, man, I'll let you go. We got a lot of stuff here from you. I think the people enjoyed what you were saying, and thanks for kind of coming on and having some fun.
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime. Yeah, it's a blast, man. I just, like I said, I appreciate what you guys do and how you help out, and it means a lot. A lot of the guys, don't be scared to come up to y'all. Ask them what you want to know, because these guys will tell you. A lot of people are scared, but don't be.
Well, cool. I mean, that race you're going to next weekend, right?
October 1st. Not
1st,
this weekend, but the next. Yeah, we'll leave out Friday.
Weekend. Yeah, cool. Well, anybody that's going to that event, guys, don't hesitate to come up to Drew. We're gonna get his setups posted on Associated here in the next several days. Brent will get that from him. I'm going to be doing my own setup sheet as well for my cars. So, not too bad. But thanks again, Drew. I'm gonna still be on live. So if you have any questions you want to ask or in the chat, I'll still be on live. But thanks for tuning in.
All right, man. Appreciate it. We'll see you later.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye. Sweet. Yeah, Drew was cool guy. I was pretty excited to have him on today. I was working with Brent to have him tune in, and he'll be doing a setup sheet for you guys. And we're gonna get to the questions here shortly. Kind of need to go back a bunch, but Drew was talking about the new e-buggy setup with the electronics. which I think for those who don't have the electronics tray mod with the moving the battery forward and the speed control forward is night and day difference. I think it makes the car so much more predictable to drive. There's less weight pitching front to back. It jumps a lot straighter, and honestly, it looks kind of cooler. ProTech makes a 6,000 milliamp square pack for that, and I believe Reedy does too, which is kind of neat. So Eric, these arena style events, how bad is the fumes from the nitro? It actually does. It doesn't get that bad, but it's definitely noticeable if you're not experienced with it. Normally, like at the Seco Nitro Blast, we get to pit outside, and then we walk into the arena to then race. So when you're in there for about 45 to an hour racing, yeah, it does get quite bad. But obviously they have the doors open. They're trying to do the best they can to vent out the facility. It's cool to see. I don't know if for the people that are on the live feed, I am streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm reading different comments from YouTube for the guys that are on Facebook that might not see it. So for a clay 1/8 scale track, would you recommend LiPo battery or a low profile battery or the Shorty 4-cell batteries? I think, we were just discussing the new radio trace mod for the e-buggy, the 4-cell small square pack, the 6,000 milliamp. That's what I ran in my e-buggy. Thought maybe I had one right here, but yeah. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so this is the battery I run in e-buggy. As you can see, a 4-cell, 6,000 high voltage. Got the balancer port right there. This is like substantially lighter than the 6500. Larry Tom, get me excited about the Smoothie 2s. Yeah, so I was actually talking to Jason about this earlier today about when they were going to be released, and he said that they'll be hopefully released by the end of the year. So, Larry, get your pre-orders ready. They're going to be hot. Brian Lukovich, hey, what's up, buddy? I appreciate you tuning in. Pretty excited to see you guys at the Nitro tracks. Hopefully you're going to the U.S. Open. Should be a pretty good time. Any tips to try for starters running big races that the tracks gets blown out? # always learning. Brian, I think the best thing I can say about people starting to go to new races, especially Nitro ones, everyone that kind of feels that they're going to their first big Nitro race, a lot of them try to order a new, or they're like, oh, I need a new engine before this big race, and then they order a new engine a week before the new race, and then they try breaking it in a couple of days before and then racing it at the big event. That's like the worst thing you can possibly do. At these Nitro races, you want to go in with a broken-in car, a broken-in motor. You want to make sure that your car is built well, tons of Loctite. You don't want your car falling apart. Those are the kind of things that, for people getting into these swing of races that are they're trying to have a good time, they kind of overlook it and they quite don't understand. So making sure that your engine's broken in, your car's been ran a good amount of times, you refreshed it. You don't want to show up to a race with a brand new car. Start with the baseline setup, just stuff like that. And then when you go to the races, hopefully you have people you can message before that have gone to the events, which Brian, I think you messaged me before about what tires to bring to like Southern Nash or Silver State and Tony's track and other races, and just simply asking questions, what tires to run, what kind of tires you'll run when the event's towards the end of the event, because the track does evolve and change and stuff like that. Mike's asking if I'm coming to the INS at Hoosiers. I will not be attending that due to the dates change and the event change. I actually have already scheduled something on that same weekend, but from what I've heard, the event or the track is amazing, and those you guys that are locals there have an awesome track. And next year I'm all for coming. What's up, Brian? Hope you and Kate are doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. Boom, boom. Noah, I see a lot of people using Simple Green to clean tires. Do you guys use the same? Yes, I actually have a tire bucket with a brush. I put water and Simple Green in it, mix, and then scrub it and wipe it in with the microfiber and call it a day. That seems to help pretty good. Or if you're asking if I use Simple Green to clean the tires for the tire bead, yes, I also do that too. Sweet. We got tons of comments in here. Will AE ever make and return to on-road racing? I have no idea. I'm not an on-road driver. The on-road market, in my opinion, is not very good. So I'm going to say no on that. But when I did race on-road, I raced at one race. It was the Reedy race, the open class. I finished second. I thought it was pretty fun. But at the same time, I'm sticking to off-road. Chris Conrad, hey Spencer, just to let you know, I'm rocking your full tour drive setup at the trackside, and it's amazing here. Well, that is good news. I like to hear that. I'm pretty excited. I haven't been to trackside in a couple of years now, and I'm looking forward to racing there. The last time I was there, we raced like pin tires, and that's like unheard of now, racing with pins. We always run slicks, and it's with our new Smoothie 2 tires, which in my last video I talked about. I'm pretty excited for. Christopher Hamilton, you think AE might make a new battery trait to run a shorty? It's a great mod. I think we're working on some new stuff, hopefully. I'm not 100% sure. But I will say it's not that difficult to clip the tray and see some photos online about it. If you have any questions, you can feel free to message me, and I can help you out too. What's up, guys? We see some new people tuning in. Yeah, for those who are attending the U.S. Open, I will looking for a potential pit guy who's ever interested in helping me pit. In qualifying in the mains, I'll be willing to help out with some tires or pay a person that is going. We can work out something. So message me if you guys are going. I'll be totally excited if we can help that out. I was just gonna show up and see who's there that can help. But Brian, I'll see you at the Open Fall Brawl this year. I was gonna go to Fall Brawl, but every year that I go to the Fall Brawl, it freaking rains. So I heard Adam, or I asked Adam Drake if he was going. He's not going, but I would love to go, but I'm already going to Myrtle Beach for the Masters of Dirt, so maybe another time. Just so risky for me to fly all the way across the country and always a high risk of rain. So, good question about the diffs. I actually have built my diffs to the kit shimming in the manual, which is the blue gasket and the shims behind the planet gears. So I'm not running the two paper gaskets. I'm not running the two paper gaskets. I have the shims behind the planet gears. So kit build, nothing different. Just by the manual. Getting a little tired here. I am trying to decide between a B74.1D or the TLR 22X. Why do you like the B74.1D? Good question. You know, I'm a pretty honest person. I think all the cars available, the four-door cars on the market, are pretty awesome to drive. The one thing I can say about the our four-wheel drive, the Team Associated four-wheel drive buggy, is the adjustable diff heights. Depending on what surface you run on, it is pretty valuable to have that ability. But there are some pros and cons to both cars. The Losi car doesn't have that option, but the Losi car is a lot lighter. I think the Associated car, I got my Associated B74.1 to 1,610 grams, which is about 20 or 30 grams from minimum weight, which is pretty good. We used to be running our cars at like 1,700 grams. So the Associated car is pretty durable. I love the adjustable diff heights. I think it's kind of the future of racing, of how to adjusting the diffs. I know that the Losi guys don't really adjust their car, and it still works pretty good. I run my diff heights at 0 on dirt, and then I raise them a little bit on carpet. But I think, like I said, both cars are pretty awesome to drive. Are awesome. I've never really exactly driven a Losi car. I've had a couple local guys at Hobby Action drive my B74 and said it was amazing over their Losi car, but it just kind of depends on how you build it, how the maintenance is, and things like that. Chris, yes, I'm going to the Associated race. I'll be there. But yeah, so anyways, we can kind of move on to another topic. I can kind of give you a list of events that I'm going to be traveling to for those who want to or want to know what events I'm going to. Let me pull up my schedule. So the Southern Nationals was this past weekend, which we already did. In 2 weeks, I'll be going to the U.S. Open. The weekend after that, I have the Kinwald race at Hobby Action. The weekend after that, I go to the Masters of Dirt. And then I have a week off. And then November 2nd, I leave for the Team Associated race at Trackside. And then back-to-back weekends, I leave on November 11th, which is the AMS, which I'm super stoked for. That race is always awesome. And with the updated schedule, I think it's only going to be a whole new experience for us. I think it's going to be completely interesting to see how they're going to run it with the way qualifying is, and then the mains. It's going to be crazy. And then for the end of November, I have a couple of weeks off to do some preparation and some testing. And then in December, we have some new stuff that we're going to be doing. I believe I might be traveling to California for 2 weeks to go race with Adam Drake, Jason Rona, and Ryan Mayfield. Some eight skill testing with tires and stuff like that, which would be pretty cool. And then December 10th is the Top Gun shootout at SDRC. What's up, Joel? Can it be? Yeah, Ash. I would love to see Ash race again. It'd be cool if he have him come out for that Kinwald race. Maybe throw down, or maybe just come out and watch. I saw that he got married, which is pretty awesome. Good for him and you guys and the family. A guy is asking me if I'll be going to SIC. SIC, yeah. I mean, that's that's in January, but I'll definitely be there. Drew is asking, with the big hype of the new Truggy bodies, do you think we'll go the same way in 10 scale truck? You know, Drew, it's funny you say that, because I literally told that to Jason that this needs to happen. He told me that it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I think it'd be really cool to see a truck like that as like our 8-scale Truggy body. But at the same time, it's just like we have so much going on with events, developing new tires, new bodies for cars that need new bodies, and stadium trucks just not that big of a class right now. Maybe it would spark it up. I don't know. But that class definitely needs to change a little bit. Joel, I'll definitely say hi to my dad and Bruce for you. I appreciate you saying hi. So, is there a new update coming for the B74.1 soon? I mean, we just released that car earlier this year. I would say not anytime soon, but that car is pretty awesome out of the box, especially out of the box. But anyways, guys, we're going to kind of wrap things up here. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I wanted to try a little bit different time phrase. If you guys think going live later in the night or early in the day, weekends, don't hesitate to comment in the comments below, or send me a direct message. That's always helpful. I'll see you guys that are in the chat at the US Open, racing some nitro. As you can see behind me, I got my nitro buggy being worked on over there. That's my other car. I got my other race car right here. And I'm going to be racing e-buggy and nitro buggy there, having some fun. So anyways, guys, I want to say thanks again for tuning in. And Jeff, it's always awesome to see you in the chat. Thanks again. Boom. Other than that, thanks again, guys. I'm going to be tuning off here. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to message me on Facebook or Instagram on my public figure pages. And we have some Thursday night football on, I think. And then this weekend we got some my team, Tom Brady's going at it with the Rams. And yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks again, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Later.